What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I want to catch you up to speed, so let me show you what's going on here. Alright, so I'm swapping out some trailing arms, and I find that these ZRP knuckles that I've got on here don't have the clearance to get through here, so I'm about to start some grinding. But before we get into this, I'm going to tell you a story. Alright guys, so here's the deal. I have been wanting to upgrade the trailing arms on my Can-Am for quite a while, really. I mean, the machine is super long and it's extremely capable, and really you find that you just sort of drag those things along and it keeps you from getting over certain obstacles that maybe some shorter wheelbases could get over very easily. Now, I looked at a number of different trailing arm options. I looked at the Super ATV. I had seen those in person. I kind of felt like they were a little too big and heavy. I looked at the HCR, and a friend of mine has those on his Polaris General, and they're very nice. They're actually very nice. I still am struggling with the cost of those and if it's really worth it. Now, there's some other videos out there talking about these high lifter arms, and honestly, I ordered them. They were around $900, which made them very affordable in the realm of aftermarket trailing arms. And really, they're built extremely well. They really complement the vehicle. They follow the lines really well, and they do what they say. They really get that angle up so that you can get your rear tire up and over things without dragging. So far, my experience with them, I've put around 500 or 600 miles since I've installed them, and it's just fantastic. There's hardly a scratch on them from me dragging anywhere, and they're just working extremely well. So let's get into sort of this install. Now, because I had ZRP rear knuckles after having my other ones, the stock ones, fail, they really didn't fit quite right, and it took grinding on both removing some of the weld material on the high lifter, as well as actually scalloping out the rear knuckle as well. So I had to grind on both of them to make them fit, and they fit really well, and there's no clearance issues now. Overall, if I'm talking about just install, this is really not something that is super difficult. Removing the rears doesn't take a whole lot of time. Honestly, resetting your radius rods is one of the most time-consuming parts of this, and just getting everything lined back up when you put it together. I will say this, I nearly flattened out and actually wore through my stock trailing arms, and you can see the difference just in the stock one versus the high lifter. The weight is a little bit different. It's not a ton different. It's actually just enough that you can tell it's a more beefy, stronger steel. The stock trailing arms aren't great, and I just know that over a matter of time I was going to wear a hole in the bottom of them from just dragging over. So basically just what you're seeing here is the removal and the replacement, and as you get towards the end of the video, we'll show a little bit of the difference between the stock height and the new high lifter trailing arms. Alright, so this is pretty much where you would see the biggest difference with these trailing arms. I'm able to clear rocks and boulders way better than I ever could with the stock ones. Now, this obstacle was out in Vernal, and if you look right here, this spot, my tire had no trouble getting up onto this rock. Now, when I backed up, you can see that I'm high centered because of the clearance right there. So that rock is about 19 inches tall or so. So typically when you would come up on this with the standard trailing arms, you would absolutely drag trying to get through there, and you'd have to really gas it to move you up and over the obstacle. So what I've noticed, especially on these more steep climbs with high pitches coming around at the end, I just don't get the hang up like I used to do. I'm not hearing the metal crunching like I used to, and just overall the experience of rock crawling is so much better than it ever was. So really, I would just say this. If you're looking into the trailing arms, while I haven't put any of the HCR systems or the Super ATV on my machine, I'm extremely pleased with these high lifter trailing arms. They're just fantastic. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe. We got plenty more to talk about coming up, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the trail.